Hello there. Welcome to my Views and News. Thanks for joining this live chat session. Can you hear me, viewers? Thank you for responding with yes. Good to be with you. It's always good to be with you in live chats. Interaction keeps me going. K12H is the first one who has commented saying, "What's up, Sajid?" Burji Suyama, a regular participant in live chat session, says hello. K12H is asking about Fano. How is your Fano doing? Not my Fano, but I'll tell you what Fano is doing. Gilbert M says welcome. Brooke Tesfa says yes. K12H says, yeah, we can hear you. Why don't you talk about how the Mike Zadu betrayed Fano? Burji Siyama, Aaron David, Iosius Girma. Uh, Let me respond to a comment. Uh, Abe Kareo has joined too. K12 is asking about Damak Zadu, that he has betrayed Fano. Eritrean Post also joined. A few days ago, you heard rumors, rather reports, not rumors, that Sahlevok Zude had defected. And later you saw that it was false report, pure rumor. Same is the case with lots of news in circulation. Whenever I hear a big news, I start verifying it. I don't share it with you until it's properly verified. You're talking about split between Damak Zadu and Fano. I'll only talk about that if I'm able to confirm. There are several other rumors too in circulation, deliberately being spread. So we should not waste time on each and every such rumors. Damak Zadu said that he's working in collaboration with Ethiopian National Defense Force. Does it mean that he's working against Fano? No, because Damak Zadu has been operating in coordination with ENDF since the start of the war. Damak Zadu is part of the government. He's part of interim government in Wolkait, and ENDF is there too. So how can he go against ENDF? We can only question Damak Zadu's intentions if he agrees to handing over of Wolkait to the TPLF, Tigray government. I think he has made it clear several times that he does not support TPLF's takeover of Wolkait to Marasag. Let's not uh, be quick in making assumptions, I think. Muhammad Toke says welcome. Izu says salam Sajid, success. Do you think war will break out between Iran and Ethiopia over Red Sea? No war is imminent. I've been saying that for weeks, for almost 2 months. I've been saying that no war is imminent. Sajid is in the attic reporting today. No, I'm at a hotel, not alone, people with me. People say you are recording videos in a washroom, but I am at a hotel recording from my room. Gadisa says, Sajid, no comment today, just listening. No, Gadisa, you are free to comment. I don't mind comments. But if you have right to comment, I have right to respond to. So don't be down. You can comment. You're free to comment. Abebe Ayale, thank you for your great report on activity of Fano. By the way, tomorrow or different tomorrow, I'll do a video about how to counter Fano. Today, I did a video about how Fano fighters can defend from drone strikes, and tomorrow I'll speak on how to uh, weaken Fano. Which options does the government forces have available? Aaron Devitt, do you think the hopeless Ethiopian army can try with the well-experienced Eritrean army? Problem is that if you're Eritrean, you would rate Eritrean army very highly. If you're Ethiopian, you would rate Ethiopian army very highly. But it would be a mistake for Eritrea to underestimate Ethiopian National Defense Force. ENDF is not just ENDF. ENDF means regional forces. ENDF means special forces. Uh, ENDF means militias. ENDF means intelligence agencies. ENDF means tribal. ENDF means armed groups as well. So don't just dismiss ENDF as a force which cannot take on Eritrean military. Johnny B is asking a very pertinent question. Sajid, have you ever tried to get visa for Eritrea? Well, I will not try because I know the answer. I know the reply. If I make a request for a visa, I'll be received with open arms in Eritrea and taken to a prison to stay with David, Isaac, and other people who have been there for decades. Said Aman, Sajid, when speaking about Wolkait, you never consider the indigenous people of Wolkait's view. Why? Well, who is indigenous people? Who are indigenous people of Wolkait? This is the main problem. Indigenous people for Tigray or Tigrayans living there. Indigenous people of Wolkait from Amhara are the Amharas living there or expelled from there. How will you determine who are the real indigenous people? Those who have been expelled in the past 3 years, are they real indigenous people? Or those who were expelled decades ago, are they real indigenous people? How to decide? How far back do you want to go? It's a very tricky issue. That is why I don't talk about history. I only propose solution. I proposed this solution 2 years ago when there was fighting. I said maybe a joint administration of this area would be in the best interest of all parties. But that I came under fire after that proposal. Tigrayans, Amharas, all lashed out at me, saying, "Sajid, you don't know anything about Ethiopia. You just float information without understanding." So I don't want to go into historical context of this issue. Success is asking question: does TPLF exist right now, and how strong as they in number and arms and their relationship with ENDF? Well, let's differentiate between TPLF and TDF, though they fought jointly. But TPLF does not mean TDF. TPLF exists, TDF exists, both are there. TDF, Getachew himself acknowledged a few weeks ago that Tigray has more than 1,000 soldiers, not dismantled so far. Hello, Sajid. Alexander is asking, hello, Sajid. What do you think about Wolkait? Is Wolkait under control of Fano? What about Demak? Is that easy Fano? Yes, very important question. I don't think Wolkait is under Fano. Wolkait is under Ethiopian National Defense Force control, but in Wolkait there is presence of those forces which have been fighting for decades to make Wolkait part of the Amhara region. At this point of time, federal forces and pro-Amhara elements are in majority in Wolkait. Tigrayans almost nowhere to be seen. Uh, one of the news stories about in this live chat is about Wolkait. Let me speak a little on that. U.S. ambassador to Ethiopia was in Mekelle a few hours ago. He led a delegation, and their meetings were held between U.S. delegation and Gata Achorada Tegra interim president. And there, at the meetings, Tegarai interim president Getachew took a very strong position against the idea of holding a referendum to determine the future status of disputed territories. A few weeks ago, Ethiopian government issued a statement proposing a solution to the deadlock over Wolkait, Tumarasag, Quorum, saying that there should be a four-state solution starting from return of IDPs, return, then establishment of administration, holding of referendum, etc. But Getachew, in his meeting with uh, American ambassador, rejected the idea of holding a referendum. He said, at this point of time, holding a referendum in Volkait is unthinkable. Unthinkable. He said that first of all, Tigray must retake its territories. Tigray wants its territories back. After that, solutions can be discussed. So Gatha Choreda categorically rejected the idea of holding a referendum in Volkait. This is what I wanted to share with you. It means that the deadlock persists not only between Tigray and Amhara, but also between Tigray and Ethiopian federal government about disputed territories. How will this deadlock be broken? No one clearly knows, by the way. Ethiopian government tried to break the deadlock by proposing a solution, but Tigray is resisting the solution. Rahabot is saying, Sajid, I think you missed what the Brigade Hamdo did in Norway on the 2nd of December. I think you missed my video. If I am not wrong, on the 2nd of December, there was a confrontation between Brigade Nehamido and a pro-Eritrean gathering. The gathering had to be cancelled. Am I right? Alim Gizao, one of my members, has joined. Alim said they lost a territory and they want to get it back by the people that took it from them. Makes no sense. Let's see. So far, federal government has not agreed to give this territory to the people, to Amhara region. AG is commenting in a language which I cannot understand. Is it Amharic or Tigrania? A says, Sajid, where is the Assab issue going? Nowhere. So far, a little silence. PMRB's government has toned down its position. No military movement, no talks between Ethiopia and Eritrea, talks between Ethiopia and Somaliland, Ethiopia and Kenya, but no signs of any bigger escalation so far. Ethiopian Diet says Pakistan-based Pano Sajid. I was Pakistan-based TDF last year. I was Pakistan-based Ola last year. Now I am Pakistan-based Fano. Mironi says, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, correct me. Mironi, correct me. Nisabho Sajid, according to Ethiopian constitution, citizens have the freedom of movement within the country without any restrictions. Why have Tigrayans been barred from Western Tigray and Southern Tigray? Constitution is nowhere to be seen, by the way. Or Sampari says there is no place called Wolkait. Please refrain from addressing it as such. If I call it Western Tigray, people would say, Saj, there is no place called Western Tigray. So what to call this territory? Eritrean Post is asking a question about Eritrea. Sajid, what did you want to tell about Eritrea? Uh, one small piece of information. Eritrean opposition groups based abroad are trying to take their protest movement, which is in Europe, in America, North America, and to take it to Eritrea. I've seen several videos in the past few days, and they claim the videos are from Eritrea. The videos show Eritreans, some Eritrean soldiers, and they can be heard talking about the need for change in Eritrea. Some of these videos have been proven uh, fake. Others need verification. Diaspora members based abroad want to take the protest movement in Europe, in America, to Eritrea. Is anything happening in Eritrea? Nothing is happening in Eritrea, by the way. I talked to few people, no signs of any movement against Eritrean president, Eritrean government, no movement against PFDJ. Only diaspora based abroad want to take the protests to Eritrea while they're not ready to lead this movement. How can there be any protest movement in Eritrea while those who claim to be champions of opposition are based abroad? No one is willing to sacrifice. Why would Eritreans rise against Eritrean president? They know that they'll be fixed by Eritrean government, Eritrean president, by the PFDJ. Diaspora Eritrean community wants to create a conflict in Eritrea. That's not fair. If they want to work for change in Eritrea, they should lead from the front. Otherwise, false propaganda is always exposed. Mola Legan said there is no place called Western Tigray. You see what I said. Do you think Ethiopia will end up like Somalia in the 80s? At this point of time, I cannot say Ethiopia will disintegrate. No. Disintegration is not on the cards, but a weak Ethiopia is emerging. You'll see maybe a weaker Ethiopia, but disintegration at this point of time maybe uh, isn't possible. I think there are some institutions keeping Ethiopia united. Haptom is asking about the relationship between UAE and Saudis. Are they influential in the Ethiopian Eritrean politics? Yes, they are influential. Both are influential. As regards their bilateral relations, they are on one page on some issues, but they are in disagreement on some other issues. You saw what happened in Yemen. In Yemen, I think they were part of the coalition which intervened. Later, UAE started supporting STC. Saudis were not supporting STC. While they were part of the coalition, they were adversaries to the extent of STC, I think. Maroni is asking a question in which he is not interested. No one is interested as well. He's saying, what is happening in Kashmir? As if he really cares about Kashmir. And Dal Kacho is asking about Sudan. What is happening in Sudan? In Sudan, rapid support forces are gradually expanding their presence. And Sudan is virtually split into two zones, one under RSF control, other under joint control of Sudanese military and tribal leaders. Talks ongoing, but so far no signs of any success. Overall, I think Sudan will remain split now. It might not split like it split into Sudan, South Sudan, but to have one government, one unified army, perhaps is not possible in Sudan now. I don't know what is happening, what is going to happen in future. But Sudan is split now, split becoming deeper. Abe Kareo, do you believe Ethiopia has access right? Ethiopia has the right access to the Red Sea. Ethiopia has every right to gain access to the Red Sea, but through dialogue, through negotiations, through diplomacy, not through military means. Neighboring countries cannot deny access to Ethiopia. They cannot blackmail Ethiopia. If they blackmail Ethiopia, Ethiopia will react. Ethiopia cannot be pushed against the wall. I think both sides will have to learn. Solution is in talks. Ethiopia cannot take a port by force, and the neighboring countries cannot stifle Ethiopian economy by denying access to Ethiopia by blackmailing Ethiopia. Here's another news item for you is about the massacre which happened in Oromia. Now, the Orthodox Church has confirmed the incident which happened in RC. Did a video on that 4 to 5 days ago. It happened in RC. Sharka is the name of the place. Around 30 casualties are being confirmed, casualties of Orthodox Christians. Orthodox Church has issued a statement officially confirming this massacre. Oromia government is accusing the Oromo Liberation Army that OLA massacred these innocent people. Ola is silent. I have not seen a statement from Ola so far. Thank you, Vovo, for contributing, for buying this super chat. Thanks. Vovo is asking, does truth matter? Ethiopia refused to use Eritrean ports. Well, Manas Zenawi's decision of diverting or shifting to Djibouti's ports was not very strategic. Though it is said that Eritrea started blackmailing Ethiopia in 1990s, uh, and that is why Ethiopia was forced to consider other options. I personally think that malice shouldn't have shifted completely to other ports. He should have continued using Djibouti's ports. He should have continued using Eritrean ports too. Yes, he could have used other ports too. The way he completely boycotted Eritrean ports was not the right decision. I think. Maybe Malice wanted to strike a blow to Eritrean economy because back then Eritrea was eager to have Ethiopian imports, exports handled through its ports. But Malice talked to Djibouti and Malice started using Djibouti's ports. Now Ethiopia has realized maybe that that was the wrong decision made by Malice and now. And now Ethiopia is referring to historical context, ethnic context, religious, not religious, ethnic, historical context to substantiate its claim to the Red Sea. Difficult to establish this claim now. Mary did not say "I love you" today, and she says, "Sajid, how many countries could be born from Ethiopia if it divides itself?" Well, if you start dividing Ethiopia, Mary, thank you, Mary. Now you're listening to me. If you start dividing Ethiopia, it will never end. By the way, let's start from Tigray. Tigray, can it be a country? No, there can be more countries in Tigray. Tambian could be a separate country. We could see Andarta, a separate country. Let's come to Amhara. uh, Amharas of Gondar, maybe they want a separate country. Then Amharas of Gojam, a separate country. Agos too. Showa have their own rich history. Let's come to Romania. You can go on and on. You can make dozens of countries. Samson, will Ethiopia and Eritrea rejoin in the future by whatever means? No, no, I don't see any possibility. Eritreans are very sensitive about this issue. You saw when the Mufti talked about uh, independence of Eritrea, implying that it was a mistake and he had to apologize. Eritreans are very sensitive. They don't want to be part of any federation, confederation with Ethiopia. What war crimes did Eritrea commit in Tigray? Well, you can go on and on. Several reports from Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, some reports from uh, Tigray authorities to TPLF as well. But how will truth come out? Truth can only come out if there is independent investigation and Eritrea, Tigray, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Eritrean country, Ethiopia, Tigray region, all join this investigation. That is the only way through which truth can come out. Otherwise, you'll keep on hearing about these claims. By the way, I personally believe that I am not denying human rights abuses in Tigray. Human rights abuses happened. But to say that it was only Eritrean military which committed all these human rights abuses is incorrect. ENDF, EDF, both operated jointly. You cannot just accuse EDF and say E and EF did nothing. They worked jointly. Tigray has made peace with E and EF. It has not made peace with EDF. So it is continuing its criticism of EDF, but no criticism of E and EF now. But in 2021, Tigray was accusing both EDF and ENDF that both had committed massacres, human rights abuses. Now, criticism is against Ethiopia, Eritrean military, not against Ethiopian military. Thank you, Avit. Thank you for buying this super chat sticker, Avit. How can Ethiopia have right for sea they don't own? You cannot deny access to Ethiopia. I think under international law, Ethiopia can claim access to the Red Sea, but only through dialogue, through negotiations. I mean, no country can say that we won't give passage to Ethiopia to reach the sea. Ethiopia has every right to gain access to the Red Sea. But question is, can Ethiopia gain this access by military means, which is not permissible according to international law? At the same time, Ethiopia cannot be denied access. By the way, Ethiopia already has access to the Red Sea through Djibouti's ports. So maybe it can diversify its use of ports. It can start using Somaliland's ports, Kenyan ports. Mironi has gone mad today, questions only about Pakistan and India. By the way, I don't follow Pakistani politics these days, Pakistani foreign policy as well. I'm so involved in the Horn of Africa. Dofa, hi Sajid, is militarily action justifiable in case of negotiation concerning Red Sea access become impossible? Well, no one is going to back military action, whether negotiations succeed or not. No one is going to back military action. Ethiopia will have to be very smart. Ethiopia will have to do lobbying. It will have to involve regional players, international bodies. Uh, it cannot just start mobilizing its military towards other countries' ports. Ephraim is asking about Egyptian and UAE's interests in the Red Sea. Elijah says, don't be offended by some comments. It's part of the profession. I don't mind comments, by the way. I read rather for others to know as well. But I don't mind any comments. Egyptian interest is clear. Egypt is part of the Red Sea country. Red Sea Forum, it's a Red Sea country. So if Red Sea is destabilized, Egypt would be a victim. UAE wants to be a player. UAE wants to be, it wants to have presence along the busiest commercial shipping route of the world. That is why it's building ports. It wants to have a military base here as well. Because for maybe centuries, this uh, maritime route is going to be one of the most strategic routes for international trade. That is why all regional global powers want to have their presence here. UAE believes that it is also a regional power. If it is thinking ahead, so it wants to have its presence here. It's not a Red Sea country, Joey. Thomas Ababa says, I am Agao from Tegarai. Maybe you would demand an Ago country in Tegarai. Because 37 minutes have passed, I think we should end this live chat session. People say, Saji, your live chats are getting longer, so I'm trying to keep them short. I think we should end this live chat. I took all your questions and tried to respond to them. Tomorrow, I'll take more questions and I'll be hosting the next tomorrow's live chat with some new topics. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining these live chats regularly. I am starting to remember people, their names, their comments, their ethnicities, and I think I am more familiar with my viewers now after starting live chats. Most of the time, I know what they're going to comment. So it's a good way of interacting with you people. Thank you. See you tomorrow in the next live chat session. Thank you. Bye bye.